Hi guys. I wanted to make a video about something that happened to me. I was just thinking about it. I've thought about it off and on for a while, but I never thought about reporting it to anyone. I may have reported it to someone if I could have got a conversation going. In some of my other videos, I talk about this is really pathetic. I spent 5 years trying to reach Deborah Kafori, the county chair. And Deborah, I mentioned in my other video, her husband Nick Blosser is the chief of staff for Governor Kate Brown. And Deborah, I think she has a relative that's involved somehow in real estate, because I've seen the Kafori name on some signs for like leasing a building or leasing office space or something like that. Anyways, yeah, I could never get a conversation going. That's a huge problem that I find I have when I try to communicate with people. There's the stupid people, they don't reply back, or the crooked ones, they're dumb or they're crooked or they're trying to hide something, they don't want to communicate, or I don't know what the deal is, but she never communicated back. I never had anyone working for her communicate back to me. The issue is that I was in Multnomah County Jail, and I was being held there when I had my federal court case. And I had called in a complaint, I believe, against Rodney Schaefer. He's a deputy, works in the Multnomah County Jail. I remember a problem that I had with him when I was held in a unit called 6 Delta. And that's a unit that they put people in, or they did. I don't know if they still do it. They haven't been back. I have no plans of going back. It's a mental health unit. And I was in there, and that was the first time, actually. That was the first time I was in. And that was when I was abused by Schaefer, Lieutenant Penna, and then the third deputy whose name I can't remember. But the second time that I was back in the Multnomah jail, I was being held for the federal marshals. The marshals service had me staying there. And I was set up one day, and I think they were setting me up to kill me. Because Schaefer's the only one that carries a loaded gun, and I had complained about him. And I remember in the hallways when they're transferring inmates, they take them out of like the pod area, and then you have a hallway where you can go to an elevator, or two. I think there's 2 elevators, and they set me up. And in the hallway, there are these windows. There's one window, and these guys, the deputies, sit in this room and look out the window and monitor the hallway. And I guess they have communications with the other deputies that are working with the inmates. And I remember walking past the window, and I heard the guys inside. I was being taken out of the law library. I was going to the law library quite frequently, and I was with it was an African American man. He was an older man, and I believe he was being held for identity theft. He had been caught with a lot of people's IDs, and I think maybe credit cards. I'm not sure. And we were both in the law library. So we were taken out of the law library by Deputy Simpson. Now I think there were 3 Simpsons, or there were. This man told me, Deputy Simpson told me there were 3 Simpsons, 2 male and 1 female, I believe. And he was the only one that didn't have any brothers and sisters. This is the guy that was escorting me out of the law library. And we were walking along the hallway. I walked past the window which was off to my left, and then we had to make a right to go in to where the elevators are, to wait for the elevators. And the guys, there were two deputies that were in the window, and they're going, "He's going to get you. He's going to get you. He's going to get you." And I didn't know what they were doing that for. When I got in the elevator with Simpson and the other man, the other inmate, we go down the elevator. The doors open up. Simpson just stands there, lets me and the other man walk out, and I look off to my right, and there's Deputy Schaefer, along with two other deputies standing on either side of him. And Schaefer, whenever you walk past him, he puts his hand on his gun. He has it, I think, on his right side. And so that's what he did. And I just didn't bother looking. I just walked right past and went down the hallway to where my cell was, or to the entranceway to get to the pod where the cells are. Trying to think what floor I was on. I think it was on the 6th floor. It may have been 6 Alpha, which is A. I can't remember. I think that's where it was. And I think that's the unit, because they had one unit. I think it was 6 Alpha. I know you were allowed 8 out of your cell for 8 hours a day. But they were setting me up. They were setting me up. They were hoping probably that I'd do something. I remember that Deputy Simpson never followed me down the hallway. I got off the elevator, I went to the left a little bit, and I started walking forward and to go into my unit, and he never followed. And he let us get to the doorway, because that other man was going in the unit too. And I remember yelling, "Hey, there's nobody in here." And then off to my right, there was a doorway that opened, and it was a deputy who was working in that unit. He opened the door immediately, as if he was just standing right behind it. I'm totally certain I was set up. They were looking to shoot me, I bet. That Schaefer is a pretty crazy guy. He's insane. He's looking to kill somebody. I got that feeling when I was in 6 Delta one day. I remember there was another inmate. He got shipped off to Pennsylvania. His name was Jesse Bardo, and he was bald. He was famous, or well known, I think, for selling meth. I remember him talking about it. I remember him talking about having a pretty expensive apartment unit here in Portland. I remember him talking about a lot of people going up to his apartment to buy meth. And yeah, he was in the unit, and something happened one day, and I just got this, I thought it was going to fall over. I just had this flash in my mind of Schaefer shooting his gun, and I really got a sense that he wants to kill somebody. And that's why I believe I was set up that day with Deputy Simpson coming down of that elevator, because he never walked out of the elevator. He stayed in the elevator. And I had those other 2 deputies that were behind the window who was saying, "Oh, he's going to get you, he's going to get you." They're sick. They're fucking sick people in there. They're crazy.